driving along in your car and you might be neutral, you might be joyful, you might just be one state of mind, and then abruptly, all of a sudden, you get this alert that says, uh-oh, your coolant is low and you better stop before it can cause engine damage. So quickly, it's dangerous, watch out. Danger, danger. And that alert puts you right into fight or flight. You were just at a neutral or joyful place, and then you're suddenly dysregulated, terrified. And that's good, like you need to have that, but there's also, that can wreck your whole day, that trigger, so to speak, that alert. And that's how your mind is. So you could be having a really ecstatic time, or you could be neutral, and then all of a sudden you get a little alert that shows you some kind of belief, like you can't trust anyone, and then you're out, you're in fight or flight, you're in your limbic, and you're not in a good place. Now, that's why, in order to combat that kind of reactivity, and it's for survival reasons, it's important to have that program in there to help keep you safe. That's what your subconscious mind is doing. But in order to keep your subconscious mind at a better default level that's not always ready to perceive reality as more negative than it is, or it's always ready to kind of pounce into vigilance or fear or distrust, you have to actually work on your subconscious mind. And I really believe this very firmly. I've been working on it for months. And I want to share exactly what I do that I think works really well, so that when you do get one of those like car danger alerts, or those triggers, those things that, or even just a flash of a limited belief that's very self-hating, self-doubting, that's any kind of thing that puts you into a reactivity that is not for your best interest and is kind of putting you in a negative momentum spiral. This method is a way of reprogramming that subconscious mind so that you can witness these things as, just like, as I say, as like little alerts, like a little gnat that's shown up, and you just can neutrally observe it and think, that is a problem, I'll deal with it. But you don't get consumed by it. So what I do for manifestation and for law of assumption, now when I'm using those terms, I'm meaning that, I'm meaning a lot of things, but I'm meaning basically here resetting my subconscious mind to believe that I can create the reality I want and to get what I want. So for me, what do I want? I want to have money and men and book deal. So all of my affirmations and saturation sessions center on equipping me with a self-concept that believes I can get all of these things, for one, and equipping me with the idea that I will. So, and some of it is about them, but most of it is about me and my ability to be confident and have a strong sense of self with it. So what I do is, first thing I do is I believe in writing the affirmations down. Like, a lot of people like to hear their own voice saying them. A lot of people like to listen. I like to write it down because of that link between your repeating things and writing them down hits your subconscious mind. Like, that's why writing things down over and over when you're punished at school on the chalkboard, that is actually, it's ingraining past the programs, and it's found, there's studies about how writing things down is important for wiring it in a neurological way. So I like to get colored paper and I write down my affirmations. Now, while I'm writing them down, I'm not just doing this in silence, and I'm not saying anything out loud. But what I am doing is I am listening to subliminals, and I am also listening to I also have regular playlists. So I call it a saturation subliminal session. And what I do is I listen to subliminal music. Now that has layered in its own set of affirmations, but you can't hear them. They're only perceived by your subconscious mind. So it's adding another, it's basically layering in as a booster more of the programming of assuming that, one of the common affirmations that I wired in is that things always work out better than I expect. So these subliminals will have messaging, and they also tend to be songs that also explicitly are also in favor of what you want. So for instance, like the Espresso song by Sabrina Carpenter is very much it's an explicit, overt song about a high confidence, high self-concept. But subliminals typically they're layered in. They might have a song that's about one thing, but then underneath the layer of repeated, maybe like 50,000 subliminal messaging of I can always create the reality I want, or whatever it might be. So I like to listen to subliminals, especially I like Medusa's channel, and then I like to listen to Dylan James's. I start the saturation session with 2 Dylan James, and those they're often just him explicitly saying things, but that gets me kind of on the roll before the music starts. So I'm writing out what I want on paper. Like for instance, I'll write if I want a guy to be intrigued by me and wanting to get to know me, I'll write out like he wants to get to know me, he was intrigued by me, and then and so I'll have that, and it's like you start to enter, because you're just writing over and over and you're listening to music, it's like you start to enter this trance and this space where more and more things start to occur to you. So I'll have gone through, like it's pretty common to focus on the love part of my life, and then maybe I'll switch into money, or maybe I'll switch into my ability to manifest in general. Like, wow, I'm getting so good at manifesting, I'm so fast at manifesting, those kind of things. Like self-efficacy and ability to create a reality kinds of manifestation or affirmation phrases. So in this session, I like to do this right in the first thing in the morning, because it sets up my entire day to have a sense of self-efficacy, self-worth, excitement, and just belief that what I want will happen. So I like to do that, and I did it religiously this summer, and I also did it religiously certain times in the spring. Like from basically December, January, February I was religious, then I had a break March, April, and then May, June, July, August, say May, June, July, I really did it. Completely consistent every day, and I call it saturation subliminal. Write on the colored paper, listen to subliminals at the same time, and then I started making all these really great playlists, and then while I go on walks I would continue to listen to music. And some of my playlists, I really believe that the music you listen to, everything you consume, it impacts you. So I have playlists called in state, because that's a thing that people talk about, is the in state. If you are in the in state, that means you've achieved what you want. So that playlist has songs, they're very much kind of I'm grateful and excited songs. So that just keeps you in that state of confidence, positivity, optimism. And so listening to that, it just insulates you in this bubble of knowing, excitement, enthusiasm. It keeps you in such a looking forward to things working out for you. And in the past, I've also done playlists that are more self-concept-y, like goddess playlists that kind of refer to it's just kind of having that really, sometimes it's maybe bravado, but it's like you need that kind of root chakra confidence that's just really coming from a core, like knowing that you're great. And listening to that stuff is better than, yes, we all like to have like a sad song playlist of catharsis. We all like to listen to some Taylor Swift and remember all the good times, but then be pining. And then Lana Del Rey's Yearning. Like, I love so many of those, but also I realized that if I marinate in that, I'm marinating in a state of dissatisfaction, longing, and not a sense of excitement and gratitude. And of course, I don't like to bypass and bulldoze and be a toxic positivity person at all. Hate that shit. But I do believe that there is something to be said about insulating yourself in music that is giving you a sense of optimism. We have so many things working against us that is giving us a hopelessness, fatigue, anxiety, depression. The whole world is conspiring to keep us in a disempowered state. So it's really important to do what we can, consume what we can to be at our optimum. So while it's always great to listen to whatever you want, whenever you want, whatever you're dealing with, I do think that getting yourself to be listening to upbeat music that is keeping you in a good, hopeful place can really make a huge difference while you're also doing these saturation sessions. So yeah, those are the tips. And that's the actual practice. But I'll also get into the actual stories of what I manifested from them, because obviously specifics are more interesting. This is just the general overview, the ritual. And the ritual in itself has really made my life so much better. I love the ritual. I really missed it because this past month I did not do my ritual because I thought, well, I've been doing that, I'm ready. I was almost actually ready to make a new saturation playlist. But anyway, I hope this was helpful, and I really think that it is make or break. I think that my method is so helpful to me, and I really think that the subliminals are a huge deal breaker with it.